All right, here we go. We are going to be building wheel stands to use with the Windsible, the 1/64th scale wind tunnel that is featured on Wind Tunnel Wednesdays, where we look at the aerodynamic profiles of different cars. And this is the Windsible right here. And so I'll explain what this is and what has to change. So this is the Windsible, and we put the cars in the Windsible, and then we close it down, turn it on, and are able to see these smoke streams that flow over, under, and around the car. And the issue that we've been having is that there are 5 smoke streams, and the cars, Hot Wheel cars, tend to sit so low that only the first 1 or 2 smoke streams interact with the car, but there are 5. So the idea is to raise the cars up a little bit and then have more interaction with more of the smoke streams, get a better idea of how the air is flowing over, under, and around the cars. So what has to happen is the cars need to be raised up. Well, Funtech Labs, the company that makes the Windsible, which is the wind tunnel, has also made a device called the Runsible, which is this dyno here, and you can put the car on it. It's got rollers in the front and back. You turn it on, and when it turns on, if it turns on, well, see, so now it's not working. That's one of the issues that we've had with this thing, is that it's not always working. And right now, it's not working, but that's pretty much irrelevant, because what ended up happening is we put the cars on there, we'd start it up, and the cars would drift to one side. And the problem with the cars drifting to one side is that they're then not lined up with the smoke stream. So you can see the smoke comes out of this kind of honeycomb grill right here, but it comes out of the center. And if your car is not lined up in the center, then the smoke stream is interacting with the side of the car, the left side, the right side, but we want it to go right down the center. So the cars would slide back and forth. The other issue we had is that, and I can move this a little closer. The other issue we had is that the cars sat too high, and that was a problem, because now, instead of interacting with more of the smoke streams that are coming out, the cars would only really interact with the smoke streams coming out at the very top. So the first 2, but then we also noticed the problem that the smoke streams that would come in at the bottom, the lower ones, were actually hitting the Runsible. They're hitting the rollers, because this roller obviously goes all the way across. So the smoke streams hit the rollers and then started to stream up past the car, and it really obscured what we were able to see as far as the way that the air was flowing and the smoke was flowing over and under and around the cars. So the idea now is to get rid of the Windsible. We're going to remove this, and just using some little wooden dowels and some other little pieces, just put together something that will, little wheel stands that will go under the wheels. So we'll be able to lift the cars up, but they don't go all the way across, because if they go all the way across, then they are going to block the airflow, and we'll get the problem of the air streaming up past the car. Hey, Christopher, how you doing? So the idea is to just, like I said, use the dowels, make these little wheel stands. They will lift the car up, but then there won't be anything in the middle, so we'll actually still be able to position the cars wherever we need them, and then hopefully see how the air flows underneath the cars as well as over and under. So that is the idea. So the first thing with the Windsible is the only way to get the Runsible in is to pull out this filter in the back. And I had a problem with this because it's jammed in there so tight, so I had to kind of work it out before I even started recording. The manufacturers have told me that on newer versions of the Windsible, this isn't as tight, but this is one of the first ones. So it was particularly tight, and pull it out, and that's this filter here. So once you take that out, then you can pull the Runsible out, and you can get a look at that. And like I said, it's kind of hit or miss. Like right now, it's not turning on. It's probably because it has drained the batteries, but I'm not going to be putting any more in there anyway. So when you look at it this way, you can see how the rollers go all the way across. So if we had a car on there, then the airflow is going to be interacting with the rollers, and that was kind of distorting the results and the outcome we were getting. When we just put the cars in there on their own, then we don't really get interaction with the higher levels of the smoke stream. So I can turn it on. Let me put this filter back in, since we won't be taking it out again. And then there's not really a way to grab hold of it, so I've kind of had to pry it open, and it's really kind of a hassle to do. But let me put this in there. So this is the smoke cartridge here, and you can see the fluid is right there. And there are two nozzles that came with this, and this is the one that we tend to use. It's got 5 smoke streams right there, and this is what we're doing. So I'm not using the track connectors because they're too wide, and they're not going to allow me to raise the cars up. What I'm going to do is get something that goes under. There's going to be 4, and there's going to be 1 under each wheel, and that way you're raising up the wheel, but you're also minimizing things that are in the way for the air to interact with. And there wouldn't be a way to lift those track connectors to raise them up higher that I can think of. So I'm going to try this today, and we'll see if it works. If it doesn't work, then we will go back to the drawing board and try again. So I'm going to take this, put the smoke stream in here, this little cover on. And I can show you how so it works. Get the car lined up. That's the other thing is when we clamp this down to close it, sometimes the cars roll forward. You have this dial, and you can also see something you can't see during when we do this on Wednesdays is you can see right here, see the smoke, it escapes from the back. Again, it's another thing they say that on the newer models of the Windsible, this doesn't happen, but on this version that I have, a pretty significant amount of this smoke escapes from the back, and as you turn it up, you can kind of see that hang on, let me go down so I can move this. Move it up, put it up here. Get a better see. And this is another thing, another reason why I want wheel stands, so that the cars don't just slide forward all the time. They stay right where you place them. And that one slid forward a bit, but turn this up. So you can kind of see that how in that front grill the air is really only flowing out of the center channels, and that is fine. And this car sits a little taller, but we just want to raise it up because, again, the top levels of the smoke streams are not really interacting with the car, and you can kind of see around the base where the air is flowing around the side of the car. So the whole point is to raise this up, and we will see how that all works out. So the first thing is to figure out the width of the wheels, and then determine how big a piece to cut out of these dowels. So we'll just take this car, for example, and so this has slightly wider wheels. Let's see. And let's see, 13. And we're basically looking at about 12, just about 12 millimeters wide. So that's good there. And then let me take this measurement here. And these are wide. This car has wider tires at the back, just over 7 millimeters. I think this one has, at least these ones are, here's a better example. This one, right here in the front. And let's see, kind of the standard Hot Wheels wheels. We're going about just about 5.3 millimeters. Let's check these in the back. Yeah, it's roughly 5 millimeters or so. Okay. All right, so then with these, and this car actually has some of the smaller little disc wheels right there in the front, so we won't have to worry about that, because if the wheel stand is wide enough for the wider wheels, then it'll be fine for these smaller wheels. Even have a truck here. Let's see what this. While we can't race these cars on the track, we can put them. Oh, I didn't reset this. We can put them in the wind tunnel. And let's see, right here, 7.3. All right. So let's mark off on, take these dowels, got it right here, and I'm just going to mark off, let's get it up to 5. What did we say? It was basically about 5.3. Let's see. Bring these in this way. And so I'm going to end up cutting these pieces right there. And they just have to be really small, just enough. I don't want them to be too wide. I just want them to sit just beneath the tires. They're just going to sit beneath the tires and hold the car up. I want them to be as small as possible. I don't want them to be really in the way. So just mark off a couple more. Mark this straight across here. That. We'll just keep cutting off these smaller pieces until we have the 4 we need, and then just glue those together, slide them right underneath the wheels, and we should be good to go. So let's see, we got that there, here. All right. Let's go ahead and cut the this in here. Go ahead and get that lined up. Wanted to score those a little bit, and then just double check and make sure that they would be wide enough, yeah, to just sit right under the tires. I think that's going to work out. And then we have actually, I'm going to go ahead and just chop the rest of this off. Pieces. Grab these others, and we will all right. Got that taken care of. Now, to take these little pieces, I'm going to just take these and see. I'm going to see if it works. Once it works, or once I've determined that it's going to work. So here's the other thing I got. I got these. These are basically just little wood tiles. I guess if you're going to make a Scrabble game or some kind of, I don't know, some kind of arts and crafts project where you're going to be using lettered tiles, then okay. So what I want to see is how high these will lift the cars up into the path of the smoke stream if we were to use these. If I go here. Actually, I suppose it probably won't matter because if I just glue these on to the tiles, like say the first tile, and we want to raise the car up, then I'll just put another tile underneath it. So I suspect I only need to use the first one. So that's what we'll do. All right. So let's see. And even with these are pretty, these are a little wider than I think I would want, but I guess if the car is being lifted up, then it won't matter all that much, but we'll see. We will see. All right, so let's go, and I'll just get one on here. Put a little bit of glue on there. Just a little bit. Come on. Haven't used this in a while. Try it this way. Take a bit of glue. Get this lined up right here. And I'll make another one. Take another little piece. All I need, I just wanted the smallest possible footprint, and that should do. Just need two little pieces. And then ultimately, I think I'll end up even trimming down this tile a little bit more. But I just need something that will hold, that the wheels can sit in. And that works. I might spread it out just a little bit more. A little bit. Right there. And it's really all that needs to happen. So each one of these, I just have to make 4, and each one is going to sit underneath one of the wheels. Get that little extra out. And then, just be able to lift the cars up. Just holds the wheel in place, and that's all it is. And then after I trim off some of these side pieces, then that is going to make the little stand even smaller, and it shouldn't interfere too much with the smoke streams. So let's see here. All right, just flip another of these tiles upside down. Grab a little bit of glue. Take this, get the little dab of glue. here. Just move a little closer to the edge. Right there. All right, and let me grab this other one. Another little dab of glue. And it is ready to go. So I think this is going to start, I think this is going to work and serve the purpose, which is to just lift these up just enough so you can get them into place under the cars. Let's see. Yeah. I just need the car not to roll forward. So if I put one there and one there, that's essentially what it is going to, what it's going to do. Pretty basic, pretty simple. So I just need to make 2 more of these. And then be able to kind of stack it up, see how it works in there. And let's see if I put a larger truck there. Same thing. I would just have to adjust the width, but it still serves the same purpose of just getting the car lifted up. It's going to allow us to center the car inside of the Runsible, and yeah, should be good to go. Now, let me grab one thing. All right, so just need to cut down. Well, first thing I'm going to do is blow this air out of here. Got a little bit of dust in there. Didn't want that. And just need to mark off a couple of, what did we say? It was 5.3 inches, 5.3 millimeters, which we had right here. Just need to mark it out. Right about there. Okay, got that. And this time, instead of cutting these, or instead of cutting them with that, this is pretty thin, so I should be able to just cut it right here. Yep, that works. Less mess, less dust. And we've got our 2 pieces there. And the good thing is I can make as many of these as I want because they're pretty cheap. And I could sand down these edges, but I'll do that if I make some more. All right, now I've got 2 more tiles. Get a little bit more glue. Just a little dab of the wood glue. And should be just about ready to go. So the Runsible, I like it. I like it more in theory than I do as an actual product, because it really just had some things that, if you just want something to have a cool little Hot Wheels accessory, on your desk, on your table, then it's fine. But if you really want to use it with the Windsible, it just didn't get the job done, and there's no other way around it. The main problem is that the cars just drift to one side or the other, and you don't want that to happen, because you want the cars to stay in the center. Otherwise, they're not going to interact with the smoke streams, because the smoke streams are lined up definitely in the center, and that's just how it is. Just putting a little bit of wood glue on this other little piece. Drop this right here, and then just get it moved into place a little more. This one's cut these pieces a little bigger, but it's okay, because they're still not going to be, they're not going to be like the Windsible roller, where they're so big that they are interfering with the car's position. So that's good. It just needs to hold in place, and that is what is happening there. So leave those there, and now we just need one more. Use this M tile, one more, to see if this is going to work out as expected. So I'm just going to need to mark off another section here. Get these lined up. Right there. Two little pieces. That is going to be all that we need. Let me go ahead and cut this one. Right there. And then cut this one. All right. And actually, this one's splintered a bit. Again, not that it probably shouldn't matter too much for our purposes, but I definitely want a cleaner little cut than that. And I could use the Dremel and just cut through it pretty quickly, but I've got about 2 feet of this dowel, so it's not going to be a problem to just cut another piece or two off of this thing. So let's go get these lined up there. More or less. Mark them off. Right across there. And go ahead and see if I can cut this again without as much splintering. And that seemed okay. This piece. Alright, let's take a look. What do we have? This one. Yeah, that one's okay. Let's rub it on this. smooth it down just a bit. And where's the other piece that we're going to use? Is it this one? Or was it this one? It's definitely not that one. Yeah, I think this one will be okay. All right. And really, it doesn't have to be perfect, don't have to be the cleanest cuts. It just needs to be able to lift these wheels up into the air just a bit, just so that we can keep the car steady, so we can keep the car stable, and so we can get a good solid look at the aerodynamic profile when we put the car in the Windsible. So far, that has not been the case, because when the cars are just in there with no supports, they sit too low. When they were in there with the Runsible, they sat too high, and the Runsible itself was too bulky and actually got in the way of the cars. And they didn't get in the way of the cars, they got in the way of the smoke streams, which ultimately was pretty detrimental when we're trying to see how the air is flowing over, under, and around these cars. So you can't have a situation where the smoke is being obscured. So, all right, we'll use that one and that one. And one more time. Grab a little bit of glue. Take this here and pop it on. Drop it onto the tile. Definitely don't want it down there. I want it up here. All right. Got that piece in there. And one more. And then we'll be able to see pretty quickly whether or not this is going to make the difference that I'm hoping it makes. And tomorrow at 4 p.m. we'll be here for Wind Tunnel Wednesday, which is where we take Hot Wheels cars and put them into the wind tunnel, and we look at the aerodynamic profiles, and we get a lot of information, especially when the cars are in the wind tunnel and they're set up appropriately. You can really get an idea about how much drag is going to impact these cars when we race the cars. And we race the cars every Saturday on All About Aerodynamics at the track live. And let me get this one straightened out. This one may need a little bit more glue. Seems okay. Let's see. Yeah, these are extremely, I don't think you could get any more basic than this. They don't have to be perfect. I think I paid maybe $2 for the lettered tiles, and then these little 1/4-inch dowels, I paid maybe 68 cents for each one, so for about $3. And I have so many more. I have a whole bag full of these tiles and the dowels. I can make more of these as necessary, but let's go ahead and see what it is that I want these to do exactly. And what I want them to do is just hold the car up. Support the car, lifting it up so that it's higher in and interact with more of the wind stream. So then if I go here, move this one here, move this one under this front tire, and this one under the back tire. That is exactly what I wanted it to do. Just raise the car up, keep it in place. But what if it needs to be higher, which is what we're going to take a look at as soon as I wipe off some of the this dust that I got inside the wind tunnel when I turned on the Dremel to cut those other pieces. Get this all cleaned out. Don't want any dust inside this, so let's go ahead and line this up inside the wind tunnel. Put one here. Here. Then in the back. And right here. Now, let's take a look. See what we've got. Move this in here. And now the car has been lifted up. Now, gotta get it centered. Alright, now it's pretty much centered there. It's lifted up, it's centered. Let's go ahead and see what we get. So now what we have is we have the car lifted up slightly, just enough, and so now it's interacting with the first wind stream right on the bottom is hitting just at the bottom of the front bumper. We have the second wind stream, which is hitting just a little higher on the bumper. That third wind stream is coming in kind of right at the hood level. And now we have the fourth wind stream that's hitting right at the top of the windshield and the roof line and flowing over the top. So I think we're getting a much better look, especially, let's turn this up, because we do get a little more definition from those smoke streams when we turn the speed up, so 134 miles per hour. Let's turn this here and kind of see how raising the car up just that much has made a difference in terms of where the air is hitting. And now we're not really interfering with the airflow between the tires, which is what was happening with the Runsible in place and those large rollers that were definitely just in the way. So this is a better solution. And what we're going to do is, if we need to raise the cars up higher, then I can just slide another tile underneath this one. Or if we need to lower, well, we wouldn't need to lower the car, because if the car is that big, that being on these two rollers creates a problem, then we would just take them out. and let the car sit on the ground. But for most of the cars that we're testing in the wind tunnel, we want them lifted up so that they're interacting with more of the smoke streams. And this is what we're looking for right here. This is it. So I think, yeah, thanks, Christopher. Yeah, it's pretty much, yeah, it's very simple, very cheap, and it accomplished what we wanted to have happen. So tomorrow, Wind Tunnel Wednesday, 4:00 p.m. Pacific, we will put more cars into the wind tunnel. They will be sitting on our little blocks. So for example, let me take this truck. If I take this truck and put it in there, so then I just need to adjust these stands a little bit to match up with the wheels on the truck. So I'd put this in there. And let's see, that one's a little too far forward, so I pull it back. Put it there and there. And then just adjust this back one. And the front. Sitting there. Now there are definitely some adjustments that I am going to need to make, and I'm thinking about possibly connecting these, but they need to be able to be adjustable, and this is really all I needed right there. Take this and move this one up. Boom. Now all the wheels are supported. Drop this down. Although this truck is a little too tall, it could stand to just sit on the ground as it is, because it's already lifted up so high that because it's lifted, you can see that the bottom smoke stream is really just basically going to pass right beneath the car. So that's not exactly what I was going for there, but it's fine. I think we accomplished the goal, and this is going to be what we use going forward. The Runsible was just too big, it was too bulky, it was unreliable, it did not keep the cars in place, and it just had to go. This is not like, I can't even get it to work now. I've used up about 4 sets of batteries on this thing. One of the issues is that these battery tabs are pretty flimsy, and you have to adjust them. I've had to bend them in so that they make connection with the battery, and then I'd been able to get this to work. And I suppose if I change the batteries again, I could probably get it to work, but I don't, what's the point? At this point, what's the point? The Windsible, the wind tunnel, we like that. It's worked out pretty well, but we just needed to get the cars lifted up. So let's say I was going to put this car in there. All I have to do is just adjust, move these little stands, and I'm sure I'll get more efficient at doing this as we go forward, but that's pretty much it. Just get the car lined up on that center line to the point where we know it's not going to move, although this one right there. Got the car lined up. Drop this down. Let's turn this up a little bit. Just make sure it's all working out. Yeah, out with the Out with the old, in with the new and the better. Yeah, and the Runsible, it's not that it's a bad idea or device. It just isn't, it just didn't work for what we needed. And I think this is much better. I think we're going to get better views of the cars and how, what their aerodynamic profiles are, how the air is flowing over, under, and around them. And it is definitely something that will help us determine how much drag the car is going to face, and that translates directly to the ways the cars perform on our track on Saturdays. So this is all looking good. Very simple solution, very basic, and yeah, I think we're going to get more information about these cars in the future before we race them. So there we go. We have our wind tunnel adjustments made. Tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific on YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram, we will have Wind Tunnel Wednesday. I'm going to go back, I'm going to clean this up a little bit, and maybe put a little color on these blocks. Probably try to cut them down just a little bit. But other than that, I think this was basically a success. So until tomorrow, 4 p.m., Wind Tunnel Wednesday, I am Coach James, and I will see you at the races.